In this episode, we share our thoughts on recent stats regarding obesity and coronavirus. If you're obese, you're 10 times more likely to die of the virus. So now, more than ever, it's critical you take care of your health.
It's time to wake up, friends, and take responsibility. No one else can.
Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to the Midlife Mentors. I'm James.
And I'm Claire. How are you all doing?
Yeah, how are you all doing? We love to hear back from you, so please do feel free to drop us an email, send us comments.
Let
love
us know
to
how
hear.
you're doing in lockdown still.
Yeah, how you're getting on wherever in the world you are. I mean, nowhere in the world has escaped from the weirdness of the corona pandemic. But different places have different rules and regulations. So places like Belize are opening up again.
Yeah.
Certain places in Spain, you can go for drinks.
Yeah.
Right here now in London, we're allowed to go outside as many times as we want to exercise.
That was a new piece of news on Monday, I think it was.
And we can sit in the park as well. We're allowed to sunbathe as long as we keep social distancing.
And it looks like it's going to be nice weather for the next week or so.
It does. Now, I think in the States, you've got a real mixed bag. Like some states are completely locked down. Some have next to no restrictions at all. So really fascinating.
We've got friends and clients actually over in the US that are
Yeah.
kind of feeding back to us, and it is very strange, isn't it? Because every state has got different rules and regulations. So not like London, well, not like England at all.
No, although we might have, because the news this morning from London is apparently we have the lowest infection rate in the country, and they're saying that even London could be like effectively virus-free by next month. Let's see. Anyway, we won't get into the politics of it.
No, all I'm saying is I think they want to restart the economy, which is a good thing. But anyway, what we're going to be talking about, actually talking about politics.
It is back to politics.
It is back to politics because...
Bojo.
Yes. I think yesterday, Bojo actually announced this in all the newspapers last night and today, that he is saying that he is raging a war on obesity following his coronavirus illness. He was really, really seriously ill, and he actually blames that on the fact that he was heavily overweight. And the statistics actually back this up, don't they?
They do. So obviously, the longer this pandemic goes on, the more and more data that can be collected, and more research. I mean, there's a load out there, and I guess like lots more will come out. But here in the UK, they've established a really clear link between obesity and your chances of infection, how long you carry the infection, your need for hospitalisation, and even your mortality risk. But before we dive into that, I'm sure you know what is consistent around the world is it generally is worse. The older you are and the more underlying health issues you have, the worse the coronavirus is if you catch it.
Exactly. But the crazy statistic...
Yeah.
I'll give you the statistics on, just the overall statistics on obesity right now. 1 in 3 people in the UK are obese. It's one of the highest in the Western world. That is a huge number. I'm shocked at that. I knew it was 65% of the UK population are either overweight or obese, but when you put it like 1 in 3 people are obese in the UK.
1 in 3 adults.
Sorry, 1 in 3 adults. Yeah.
Obese.
And 34,000 people die of obesity-related illnesses each year. So just kind of putting that out there about obesity overall in the UK and how much it's increasing at a staggering and alarming rate.
Yeah, so I think before we get into the corona impact, let's just set our stall out. Obviously, Claire and I are massively into the health and fitness. We are anti-obesity. However, we do understand for certain sections of the population, there are medical reasons, conditions. They're less able to exercise. There are whole reasons why people can be overweight or obese. However, that number of people is very small. It's certainly not a third of the UK adult population has those
Absolutely.
reasons for being obese.
Well, I feel really passionate about this. I was just signaling to James, if he doesn't mind me just saying this. I've got personal experience of this. My gorgeous older brother has MS. So, obviously, his immune system is pretty shot to pieces. He's a really high risk category right now. But he actually can't physically exercise as most of you and most of the population can. I think that's why I feel also so passionate about it, because people do make excuses and don't take personal responsibility, but there are a whole section of society that can't do it. And if you're one of the people that are fortunate enough to have mobility and your health, then really I kind of feel like you're doing a disservice to the people that really, really can't. So that might be a bit out there, I don't care. But I feel really passionate about it because I've seen my brother go through this in the last, 7 to 8 years where he's not mobile. So of course, he has put on weight and he finds it a real struggle to keep it off.
Yeah. So there are those people that are going to struggle for good reasons to manage their weight. But a lot of those that are overweight don't have those medical excuses. And listen, anecdotally, I can't tell you the amount of people that we have seen during this pandemic. We go to the supermarket and they're overweight, they look very unhealthy, but they are bulk buying like disinfectant, bleach, but it's like cheap alcohol and cheap food, like really processed pizzas, like no fresh fruit or vegetables, yet they're there in their mask and gloves. I've got to say, people also usually look like they've been wearing the gloves for days, sometimes the mask as well. And so you'll follow them out and they wheel out their trolley and they stop outside, pull their mask down and have a cigarette.
Or stuff something in their face.
And these people are putting... we're not getting into the whole mask gloves debate here, but these people are putting their whole faith in the coronavirus won't get me if I wear a mask and gloves. Yet they're doing nothing to take care of their internal health or bolster their immune system through, moving their bodies more, through better diet and nutrition. So we've got a real problem here. And let's before we get into the stats for corona and obesity, before the epidemic, before corona came.
Sorry, that's our dog. Carry on. We might have a little barking
obesity and obesity-related conditions and illnesses are costing NHS between £5 and £6 billion a year. Now, the majority of those are preventable. We've seen obesity increase in both adults and children. Decade on decade, it increases, and the reason for that is basically very complex. But poor education about diet and nutrition, less activity and exercise on school curriculums,
and less support as well. Actually,
but also I've got to say, also shifting of responsibility. A lot of people don't want to take responsibility fitness and health anymore. They're like, that's my only choice. That's all I can eat. It's all I know how to eat. Listen, you already know that obesity causes a wealth of health issues. Now we have coronavirus.
Yeah.
And now we're going to tell you the stats on coronavirus.
Go ahead.
So, if you are obese, they found out that not only are you more infectious than lean people, but you stay infectious for longer. So the risk to everyone around you is increased. But the risk to yourself, you are 2 times more likely to need hospital treatment if you're obese. Should you then go to hospital, you are 10 times more likely to die.
Exactly, guys. So, if it wasn't for what's going on internally, as James said, the whole point, this is why we've been doing post after post after post about this recently. There is a level of personal responsibility that we need to start taking over and above coronavirus. We know that obesity increases your chances of heart disease, of type 2 diabetes, of high blood pressure. So internally, this is the danger. This is the enemy. The enemy is kind of within and what you're doing rather than the enemy outside of yourself, which everyone, understandably, because it is a deadly virus, everyone is so overwhelmed with focusing on the virus rather than what they can do to help reduce their chances of contracting it and actually even dying of it if they do get it.
Yeah, listen, if you are obese, listen to this right now, like, it's probably not your fault and you can fix it, right? But if you are obese and you're putting your faith in cleaning products and gloves and masks,
and a vaccine,
but you're still eating crap like shoveling and processed food, cake stuff. I mean, literally, this is what you're doing. You have a revolver, a 6-bullet revolver. You've got 3 bullets in the chamber. You're spinning it, and you're playing Russian roulette, but you've put a pair of gloves on to hold the gun because you think that's going to better your chances. I mean, I can't put any blunter than that.
I know, and it's the thing. We can hear we're getting really passionate about this because here's the thing. When we're saying it's not your fault, actually, genuinely, people might say, oh, don't be silly. It is their fault. Actually, we genuinely believe that it hasn't been helped at all by society that we're in, which is all around quick fixes. It's not educated us. It's all around quick fixes. Sugar products are shoved in our face all the time. Fast food joints are everywhere. In fact, it just absolutely disturbs James and I that McDonald's is now one of the chains that's opened up and everyone's queuing up outside with no social distancing.
So I think yesterday was the first day they McDonald's opened a certain number of their drive-through restaurants for takeaway or delivery.
Takeaway,
sure.
I think.
But anyway, there were photos. They were inundated with orders, and there were queues of the delivery drivers at every single one waiting to pick up orders.
They're so inundated that actually they've had to put a cap on how much you spend. That is just that is a responsibility of the individual, but also we've opened McDonald's and there's no social distance. I really don't understand where people's heads are. And here's the thing, it's quick fix, lazy solutions that we've been fed constantly. We've not been kind of educated on how to take personal responsibility for our health and wellness and our weight. So it's no wonder that actually people are putting masks and gloves on, potentially protect everyone else, but also to protect themselves, and actually not looking at what really, really matters, that's going to help them have a longer, more fulfilling life, hopefully, is actually what they're shoveling in their mouth and whether they're getting off their backside and actually exercising.
True. I mean, you can tell we're really, really passionate about this. And listen, we have been from the start about, what is fixable in your life that can give you a better quality of life that not only will improve you physically, but improve you emotionally and mentally as well and make you happier, And before the coronavirus, this was so important. But now with the coronavirus, let's go. If you are obese, you have 10 times the risk of dying. 10 times.
Exactly.
I mean, if that is not a reason enough to start addressing your weight issues if you have them, then frankly, nothing is going to.
No, and actually, I'm gonna go really bold here. Anyone that says that this is fat shaming, yes, fat shaming happens. Absolutely. Is it right? Absolutely not. However, we cannot keep using fat shaming as a way of masking the actual issue, which is obesity is killing people. So, it's about how you address this very delicate subject, but it does need to be addressed. And actually, we need to start looking at prevention rather than cure. Because here's the thing, all these people are looking to our governments, to society, saying, cure me, cure me, cure me. What we need to be doing is saying, how do we prevent you even needing to go to that place? One of the things also we experienced, this is about 4 months ago, I went to the doctors and I was talking to the doctor there and I was talking about what we do.
This is fascinating, it really is.
What we do, and I was saying about obesity to her. She was saying that she's got a child and all her child's friends are pretty much overweight or obese. A majority of them are, which I found shocking. So I said, what do you do to help children and adults that are clearly obese? And she said, oh, well, we give loads of support. We send them to a personal trainer. We give them an exercise regime and we give them a nutrition coach. I said, I never knew that. That's absolutely amazing. NHS, incredible. As always, really celebrate our NHS for the work they do. She turned around and said, but actually, about 10% of people take us up on it because they're too worried about how far away it is and how they're going to get there, whether they need to get a bus, whether they need to work. And I'm just like, my goodness, this is the mindset of a majority of our population in the UK. If it's too hard, I won't bother.
I know, it's shocking. And what's also shocking is like there's a worry that we've become so politically correct that we won't bring this stuff to the surface. And there's definitely an opinion piece I read on this. That basically, the advice from the government to people in the UK is they sent letters to everyone over 70, basically saying you are high risk, you should self-isolate. And they're still discussing whether over 70s should, compulsory self-isolate even as we come out the crisis. So I made the point, obese people are equally, if not more, at risk than those over 70, but the government would never dream of saying you're obese so you need to self-isolate because the politically correct outcry. But here's the thing, age is something you can't do anything about, but for the majority of people obesity is, and we shouldn't shy away from that fact.
We're not
at all.
No, and you can do it with love, you can do it with respect. And actually, here's another thing, a lot of it, actually most of it, 80% of it is mental. Okay, so losing weight is hard. It's really, really difficult. And it's all about your belief systems. And that's why when we coach people in everything we do, actually, on our retreats, everything, it's all about the mindset approach. Because if your belief systems aren't in line with what you're trying to achieve, you're never, ever going to make it. You can't outrun or outperform your own self-identity and self-beliefs. So that's really, really important, is to help people feel supported and encouraged emotionally, so that they believe they can take each step one at a time and stay there and sustain there. And they need support in that area as well. It's no good just saying, here's a diet plan, here's an exercise plan. It's actually about the emotional, mental aspect of achieving it as well. And most people don't have that self-belief. When you put on that much weight, understandably, you don't have very much self-worth or self-belief, potentially. And it's about addressing that, which is we are all in on that. We're 100% committed to helping people from where we are, doing what we can. And we feel so passionate about this, as you can tell.
Yeah, we do. And listen, if you're listening to this, you're thinking, oh, God, I really need to do something, but I bet it's really hard, or it involves lots of hard work. I'm not going to lie to you.
It is.
Psychologically, it is going to be hard, because you, like Claire said, you're going to shift your self-identity and shift your beliefs. Which is what we do a lot of work with clients on. But here's the actual thing. When you get down to what we actually physically need to do, and most people, there's this area where they shy away from it, you don't need to be doing it. We're not talking about spending hours in the gym every day. We're not talking about like suddenly you have a super restrictive diet. How we work with people and how it is possible to live and be really healthy is like, eat a balanced, healthy diet. Still enjoy the occasional, pizza, cake, whatever. It's just not a daily thing.
Aperol spritz.
Yeah. healthy, balanced diet. So you get to a body fat percentage you are happy with, and then you maintain it easily without feeling you're going without being restricted. And you can do it pretty easily when you know how to get there, which is what we coach people on.
Well, that's our award-winning approach, basically. It's quick, we don't want to spend hours in the gym. We don't want to have to, eat lettuce leaves. We wouldn't do it ourselves. This is what we show people how to do and have a balanced, enjoyable life.
Yeah, and the other side of that is the exercise thing. It's not about having to go for massive long runs or even 2-hour walks.
We don't.
Listen,
our clients
20 minutes a day is the minimum. 3 times a week, and you will see results. This is what we coach people on all the time.
And there's a few little short hacks that we do and teach people that. We won't go into it. If you haven't listened to them, they're all in our podcast, guys. Go and listen to them, because we actually explain in depth in some of these podcasts the nutrition side and the exercise side of actually how to do what we're saying is completely possible for you right here, right now. So I think that's our impassioned podcast, all driven out of, Boris announcing that he's having a war on...
Don't be a fatty in your 50s.
That's what he said, don't be a fatty in your 50s. I don't know whether that's completely correct. It's controversial to say that. It's
alleged to have said.
Alleged to have said, exactly. But, at the end of the day, it is really, really important. Now, and hopefully this has shone a light on... actually the devastating effects of obesity on people's lives, literally. So over and out, really.
Yeah.
One thing we do want to say, we had a most phenomenal Maybank holiday virtual live retreat. Again, we're supposed to be in Ibiza running our retreat season. Clearly we're not. That's okay. We're not going to quit. We're not going to give up. We're going to carry on being there for you. So we are running another virtual retreat next Saturday and Sunday. It's the 23rd and 24th.
Yes.
James got it wrong. James put up a whole thing and got the dates completely wrong.
What can I say? In lockdown, the calendar goes out the window, doesn't it?
And actually sent a broadsheet journalist the wrong dates as well, which is winning. Luckily, she's a friend. But we're doing it again next weekend. I'm going to put the link in the podcast episode notes as well. Please sign up. It is on a contribution donation basis only, guys. So you can come and enjoy our experience. They're as like our in-person retreats as possible. They've got all elements to it, but we don't ever want you to feel like money circumstances or money restrictions is going to stop you experiencing a little bit of 38 Degrees North magic. So,
totally not. It's a great fun thing. Listen, the main takeaway from it has been people have just like connected in the community we organise around it, and everyone supports each other and messages each other, and people are even like going, oh, when this ends, we'll have to meet up in real life. So do please come along to that. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah, we would. I'll put the link in the below. And we're sending you so much love. Stay healthy, stay happy, and stay safe. Sending love. Mwah.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under The Midlife Mentors.
Yeah.